Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the Foundry. I'm Johnny Boy here with KryptonicKen and Slykiko, and today we're reviewing another episode of Star Wars Skeleton Crew. Today we are hitting up episode 6, Zero Friends Again. And let's talk about this little mid-episode, you guys.
Yeah, this one was an interesting one. I kind of like this one. I thought it was overall a pretty good episode. I mean, there was some conflict. I thought it was a little interesting because there was like all the kids were like having some disagreements. So I thought it was a little interesting because you got to learn a little bit more about like them, because I feel like conflict between characters is definitely some of the most interesting stuff. So to actually see them like arguing and that going different ways was good.
A better way to get closer together as well as characters after said conflict, which we saw. I mean, like, I feel like the episode had one of the better feel-good endings that I felt like in episode 2 that I really enjoyed, of them all coming together after like the conflict and working together as a team, and they all had their specific role, like preordained role kind of set up there, and they all kind of, and they succeeded because of it. I thought that was really awesome. And I'm like, cool, like we're working towards like after all the butting heads and stuff like that, but just kind of the meat and potatoes in it was very, I feel like the pace was slowed down a little bit too much off of at the end of episode 5, of Jod kind of like turning again into a baddie.
Yeah, you built up all that suspense, and then you just kind of have like a little filler episode where these two sets of kids just kind of slow down and have little self-discoveries. I was like, yeah, this is nice. It's a good sentiment, but you could feel how it like shifted the pacing of the show.
Yeah, I feel like it definitely.
That I agree with, for sure. Yeah, it just felt like not a whole lot happened, which, I mean, I guess obviously we're saying the focus was more on like some character development in this one, which was fine, but I guess recapping the episode, like they got back to the ship. That's what happened.
Yeah, that's I thought the like the armor kind of popping off at the very end, I thought that was like fantastic. I thought that was so cool.
That was awesome. That was a nice little I mean, they obviously set it up for a reason earlier in the show, but it was nice to see them come back to that and the reason why they shouldn't have clicked that a while back and how it actually helped. So it was cool.
It got me giddy seeing like the actual ship like below it was like a molting, honestly.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
Seeing this pristine old Republic cruiser. Oh, I don't know about you guys, but like it took me back to those old cinematic Old Republic trailers with like the Sith ships.
Yeah,
oh my god, those things! I would buy the collector's edition of those things. They look so like elegant, and so seeing this like pirate ship that's like, how do I put it? Seeing this like royalty looking ass ship disguised as this rundown little pirate ship
ceremonial
was kind of it was ironic, and I did like it.
Yeah,
I liked it a lot.
Brings like like, okay, now I get the Onyx, like very sleek and kind of thing like that. So our biggest antagonist here, of course, Crabs. Thoughts on that, you guys?
You guys give me a Moana vibes.
I was sad about the crabs.
I thought about Love, Death, and Robots from one of the greatest episodes in that series. Have you guys heard of that episode?
I've heard of the show, but
I know of the show, but I haven't seen
correlation.
So David Fincher is the man who made Fight Club, right? And Mindhunter, Seven, multiple other like great movies. Like he directed an episode called I think Wayward something. What is it called? Bad Traveling. It's called Bad Traveling, about a bunch of guys at sea accidentally they have a big old crash and whatnot, and there is a gigantic crab in their cargo in the middle of the ship. Is like broken. There's a giant crab, and this crab is like grabs a human body and it's like trying to communicate with the crew, and the crew is like slowly sacrificing people to this crab for its like it's almost like kind of like cosmic horror, like Eldritch a little bit too. It's fantastic. It's one of the best episodes. I would watch like that episode specifically for it, and it reminded me a lot of that too. It's this giant crab, And that's what reminded me a lot about that. And I really like that.
I was a fan of the salvage crab design. I was a fan of it. I liked
it was cool. I like how they're kind of all mixed with like kind of weird biology, like autonomous, kind of like kind of electrical cyber kind of stuff going on there too. Kind of like virus.
Yeah. I think for me, I was a little sad about the crabs though, because I was hoping Wim was finally right about something.
Yeah, not
crabs, and they would actually like pan out and do something good, and then they just turned out to be evil, and I was like, no, come on.
Yeah.
I wanted him to like do something good and win for something.
Yeah, I know he couldn't even really get the win with like keeping KB powered up. I feel like that was the biggest suspense of the episode. Was like
that
worrying
was my favorite
about
part
KB.
of the episode.
It was a great sentiment, but like
that whole scene was great.
It was great. It just I love KB, but she kind of lessened the significance of it when she was like, "Oh, did you think you were gonna save my life?" No, man, I was just about to go like meanies. Like I was just gonna lose battery. Like, and I was like, yeah, it like helps like lighten the mood, but
wait, what do you mean?
Well, because like she tries to like thank him, but then she's like, oh, like you thought I was gonna die, and he kind of just like looks at her like, were you not? And she's like, no, like I was just gonna lose battery. I was just gonna like kind of be in like a little coma.
I don't remember
what she said.
that.
Maybe I missed it.
Yeah, essentially,
I thought
she needs it to
said
keep
she
going.
was gonna die.
No.
Because I thought she explicitly said, yeah, thanks for saving my life. I gotta rewatch that.
I think she spins it like that because it's the equivalent of like not charging the vacuum. That's really the best way to describe how she kind of made it seem. And she was trying to give him that like, you know, thank you, but he was trying to take it as like, oh, like I saved your life. And it's like the stakes really weren't that high, but to us, the viewer, it seemed like it.
I really liked Fern being kind to Neil. I feel like she
that was nice.
Really switched up quite a bit too, and being like slowing down and working to someone else's pace, which is what like KB was actually talking about. And it's like, wow, she got there all on her own by communicating with Neil. It's like only if KB would have done that with her, maybe she would have slowed down too, you know? And it's like she did exactly what, you know, the whole thing is like, KB is like, oh, Fern just doesn't realize people aren't as good as her in certain aspects. You know, like people have strengths and weaknesses and stuff. And that's what she was like pretty much like talking about. And she's like, oh, Fern's got to learn that. And then it like switches to Fern's side. And she already learned it with Neil to slow down, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, like if you would have communicated that in the first place, like KB, maybe we could avoid this whole splitting up situation, but it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. They're kids. They don't communicate well. You're right. They don't talk about this kind of shit.
What do we think about Urkel?
Yeah. I mean, I noticed him like when he first appeared. I was like, hey, and like he hasn't really done. He's just kind of been there.
Yeah, all the pirates. I feel
weird.
Yeah. I liked this episode quite a bit, with like some of the pirate banter and kind of Jude Law like doing some manipulating a little bit too. I love when he popped out and he was wearing all like the gold and all the loot and shit like that, and like he looked fucking awesome. I'm like, hell yeah, dude. How many movies and TV shows and games something happens and they go into a giant loot room and it's like, ah, man, like no one ever pays attention. They're like, oh, don't worry about that, the real treasure's knowledge. It's like, no, like get the $1 million in gold right there, please. Like get
with the pimp cup.
Get Jesus's amulet right there, you know? Like get God's toe ring. Like get that shit, dude. And he actually walked out like wearing all the stuff, and I was like, yeah, dude. Like my deepest desire is finally on screen. But they all captured him and whatnot too, but it's fine.
Yeah. He has a habit of that.
Yeah.
Nothing comes to fruition for him. Just
no,
as soon as things start going, he just
it's like Murphy's water. It's like Murphy's Law with him.
Yeah.
So he pretty much like was convincing. Yeah, he convinced the other pirates about like AT-AT and how they can like, yo, you guys, one last job.
Yeah, he's got the golden tongue, I guess. They just always were like, I guess we'll try it out. He manages to talk his way out of so many of these situations.
Oh, he's absolutely a silver tongue. I mean, he's single-handedly now just from what we've seen with the pirates, he's smooth talked himself.
Oh yeah,
two
definitely.
times out. twice. I mean, it might actually be his greatest strength is his ability to just
his charisma.
Yeah, the charisma and just like the spinning.
Is he a Jedi?
No.
Okay. Was he a Jedi?
Yes.
I think we still get. There's still a bit more to learn about him.
It's still a little bit more to learn.
He clearly must have learned something. So, I don't know. I mean, yeah, being a Jedi is a certain way of life. So
well, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I
know
he does
something,
the code.
But the thing is, like the timeline too. If you look at it, I think that's why hopefully the next episode.
I saw some people in the comment section as well correcting us on the actual timeline. I don't remember what they said, but I still don't have a real grasp on it. I mean, I'm assuming it's New Republic. It feels like kind of New Republic era like that. Like the sequels. But.
It officially happens essentially 5 years following Return of the Jedi. So Empire's over.
Oh, okay.
By like 5 years, yeah. So if we do that math and we look at him and just go by like kind of like timeline logic, you know.
Yeah, where the fuck did he learn that? I guess when he was a little kid.
Exactly, yeah. So it's like, when was he picked up? Was he picked up post 66 or was he picked up pre 66? Because he obviously knows a thing or two about the Force, but it's all parlor tricks with him, you know, which kind of coincides very well with that charismatic character and like smooth talker. He knows a little bit of everything, but he doesn't fully comprehend a single thing. Yeah, like, you know, he knows how to like move a few things. He knows how to like pick things up with the Force. He knows how to get himself out of a scrape, but he doesn't know how to do something from start to finish. He's not that like well thought out guy where he's got a bulletproof plan or he's like super gifted in the Force. He's neither.
I feel like he doesn't have a lot of Jedi plot armor. I think that's a very big thing about it too. And then like the reason why Jedi is so smart is because they write him that way. And I feel like a lot of people here are flaws, and they kind of make kind of comedy out of that for the most part, of like how nothing ever goes right for him type of thing, you know. It's just like, even in the last episode when they're kind of walking around with their disguises and they come across and then immediately he's like, run, you know, like he couldn't even like convince or keep it up, or like it's like he's funny. He is very funny. I do like the show. I think it is a pretty funny show. You've seen other like Disney Plus shows where like, yeah, it's a comedy, and it's like, it's not really funny though, but like, props to you for trying to get a laugh out of somebody, just not me. This episode had a runtime of 33 minutes, which I'm sure the credits were like 14 of that.
Pretty much. Oh yeah, this thing was popcorn sized, which I mean, it tracks with the filler vibe.
Yeah.
It's a heartfelt, cute little episode, but it definitely slows down what that last episode built up all that suspense for. You've got a double cross. You've got this kind of character growth. I wasn't fully sure why they wanted to go that direction this episode.
I don't know.
Yeah. I guess because it was the classic midpoint of a show. Like, you got to have some conflict, so they had conflict between the kids. But they resolved it really fast.
Yeah, exactly. Usually, like that, they'll do that point like a 70% of the movie where it's like two best friends and they actually break up for a little bit. Then it's like, wait a minute, we're stronger together. We realized our errors, you know, type of thing.
Apes together, it's strong.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, this football team can defeat the enemies. Like,
yeah. I feel like that's become like a cinema sin in recent like 20 years. Like the modern era, I'd say, like every film, they need to spell it out for you what the life lesson that gets learned later is.
I swear to God,
they preview it 10-15 minutes in, and then in like the hour 40 or 2 hour mark, you see it come in, and you're like, oh yeah, like that's a cool callback.
The Hollywood thinks that everyone is a fucking moron, and if you've seen the way the nation is behaving so far this year, I would agree. So I mean, maybe if it's for a good reason. Yeah, maybe it's for a good reason.
Sometimes I'm like, yes, spoon feed me my cinema.
It's like they just fucking Hollywood's over there, and they got a big old bucket of like slop and slosh for everyone. They just throw in the trough, and the people then run into the movie theaters. Or now, I guess
their shit up.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, keep eating that slop. It's like, oh fuck, do you give me a straw for this shit? Oh, fuck, I gotta think. Hurt brain. No.
Brain hurt.
Let's do some, let's drop some ratings there. Sly, what would you rate this episode of Star Wars Skeleton Crew?
Ooh, I'm gonna give this one a 7.
A 7?
Yeah, I don't want to rate it lower because I didn't hate the episode. I just don't think the timing was off. If this was one of the little adventures they had prior to that last episode with the big reveal and all that suspense and finding like the Skull Ridge or whatever the hell it was, I would have been like, yeah, like this is a cute little lesson. Like now they're stronger together, and then boom, and then oh no, double cross. But like the pacing is the only thing that really threw me off. Overall, I loved the story of it. The KB part was super sentimental. Trash crabs were pretty cool. The ship was banging. And then Jude Law, as always, is class. And seeing him hustle the pirates even when he's like against the wall, I love it.
This episode did have a lot of positive things I did enjoy about it, though.
Yeah. Agreed. I think I will actually give it the exact same score. I was thinking 7 as well, because I think I agree with all of what Sly said. I mean, especially the KB part for me. I was actually like, I watched it, I was like, I felt something for a Star Wars show. What the frick? And it's a kid's show. No. It was like, all right, finally, a good moment. I'm like, all right.
These reviews would be a lot faster if everyone, just one person talked, everyone just said ditto off of that. Just be like, yeah, same.
Yes.
I would give it a 7, but we had no SM33, so I'm going to drop it down to a 6.5. 6.5.
Fair.
Yep.
Nice.
But yeah, a lot of positives. Just don't think it left me quite whole like the previous episodes. That's why it's quite low for me. So, we'll just call it a good old Foundry 7 because there are so many positive things about this episode as well. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the review, please make sure to drop some support for the slugs down below. Share the review with your friends. Get some love out there for the sluggos. And we'll see you guys later for episode 7 on our next review. But until next time.
Peace.